Nestled at the southern tip of South America, Ushuaia is a city that truly embodies the spirit of exploration. Located in Argentina's Tierra del Fuego province, Ushuaia is often referred to as the end of the world, and it's a place where geography, history, and adventure intersect. Its stunning location at the base of the Andes Mountains makes it arguably the southernmost city in the world. As such, it's not just the incredible landscape that draws the crowds. Just a relatively short boat ride away, that is, 1,100 kilometers southeast, lies the vast and mysterious continent of Antarctica, home to some of the most breathtaking scenery and wildlife on the planet. So come and discover the unique history, geography, and culture of Ushuaia, and learn about its connection to the icy continent. Ushuaia is located about 2,300 kilometers south from Buenos Aires, and Cape Town in South Africa is about 6,800 kilometers northeast, meaning that Ushuaia is technically closer to South Africa than North America, which starts about 6,900 kilometers north in Panama. The region of Tierra del Fuego is known for its rugged and mountainous terrain, with the Andes Mountains running along the western coast and the Patagonian Plateau to the east. Tierra del Fuego is home to a wide range of plant and animal life, including many species that are found nowhere else on Earth. For example, the Patagonian fox, uniquely adapted to the harsh cold climate of the region. There are also a number of species of birds, including the condor, which is a symbol of Argentina, and of course many penguins. The climate in Ushuaia is generally mild, with average temperatures ranging from about 0 Celsius in the winter to about 10 Celsius in the summer. The city experiences a maritime climate with cool, wet winters and mild, humid summers, receiving a significant amount of precipitation throughout the year, with average annual rainfall ranging from about 150 centimeters in the city to more than 250 centimeters in the surrounding mountains. Snow is common in the winter, with the heaviest snowfall occurring in June and July. Due to its southern latitude, roughly equivalent to Denmark in the northern hemisphere, the city's climate is influenced by Antarctica, and the duration of daylight varies significantly from more than 17 hours in summer to just 7 hours in winter. In addition to its natural beauty, the region was home to several indigenous people for at least 10,000 years prior, such as the Yamana, Haush, and Selk'nam, many of whom hunted, farmed, and even built boats. Their traditions and customs continue to influence the way of life in the region. For much of the later half of the 19th century, the eastern portion of Tierra del Fuego was populated by a substantial majority of nationals who were not Argentine citizens, including a number of British subjects. As a result, Ushuaia was founded informally by British missionaries, long before the Argentine nationals arrived. In general, the 19th century was a time of political and territorial instability in South America, as newly independent nations such as Chile, Argentina, Bolivia, and Peru sought to establish their boundaries and assert their sovereignty. As such, the Boundary Treaty of 1881 was significant for the southernmost reaches of the continent, because it established a somewhat stable border between Chile and Argentina. Tensions between the two abated, and so the development of the region could begin. Interestingly, despite dividing largely unexplored lands, the treaty laid the groundwork for nearly all of Chile's and Argentina's 5,600 kilometer long border, and has served as a framework till today, despite the fact that the matter still hasn't been settled. So as a result, the township of Ushuaia was officially founded in 1884 by the Argentine government, primarily as a penal colony. Many of the city's early settlers were convicts who were sent to work in the mines and timber mills, and the city quickly grew and developed into a hub for trade and commerce. It was in 1896 that the prison colony received its first inmates, mostly repeat offenders and serious criminals. It was established as a way to deal with the problem of overcrowding in the country's urban prisons. It was also intended to serve as a place where prisoners could be sent to work as forced labor in the construction of public projects, essentially an Argentinian gulag. Indeed, Patagonia is often being compared to Siberia in this sense. The prison population thus became forced colonists and spent much of their time building the town with timber from the forests around the prison. They also built a railway, now one of the main tourist attractions in Ushuaia, known as the End of the World train. While initially it used to transport prisoners to the colony, nowadays the train ride takes visitors on a journey through the Tierra del Fuego National Park. offering views of the surrounding landscape and wildlife. The train has of course upgraded since its initial conception. Today it is considered the southernmost functioning railway in the world. Life in the penal colony was harsh, extreme cold, isolation and hard labour. Many died as a result. It was also the site of a number of revolts and escape attempts, and was known for its high levels of violence and brutality. It was operational until 1947, when it was closed due to pressure from human rights groups, and the Argentine government's decision to adopt more progressive penal policies. Today the site of the Ushuaia penal colony is a popular tourist attraction, and the prison buildings have been turned into a museum. Being quite so remote, the city and its people have never really been touched by conflict, except for during the Falklands War in April 1982. Located just 600 kilometers from the islands, Ushuaia was used as a base for Argentine military operations during the conflict, and many residents were drafted. The Argentine military used the airport in Ushuaia as a staging area for troops and equipment during the conflict. In addition, the city served as a center for the evacuation of wounded soldiers and the processing of prisoners of war. Ushuaia has long been described as the southernmost city in the world. While there are settlements further south, the only one of notable size is Puerto Williams, a Chilean town of some 2,000 residents. According to the 2020 census, the population of Ushuaia is approximately 74,000 people. The city is ethnically diverse with a mix of Argentine, Chilean, European, and indigenous peoples. Spanish is the primary language spoken in Ushuaia, but English is also spoken by many people in the city due to the large number of tourists who visit each year. The majority of the population of Ushuaia is of European descent, with significant numbers of people of Spanish, Italian, and British ancestry, while the remaining indigenous population comprises around 15% of the total. Ushuaia has a relatively young population, with a median age of 35 years. The city has a high standard of living and a relatively low unemployment rate, due in part to the thriving tourism industry. Fishing is also an important contributor to the economy, as the city is located on the Beagle Channel. In addition to being a vacation destination for local and international tourists, Ushuaia is a key access point to the Southern Ocean, including subantarctic islands. It's common to find travel agencies that offer trips to Antarctica, ranging from short cruises to multi-day expeditions. These trips often include visits to the various research stations that are located on the continent, as well as opportunities to see the unique wildlife and landscape of Antarctica. Most cruises depart from Ushuaia in late fall or early winter, when the weather is cooler and the sea ice is more stable. The journey typically takes several days, depending on the route and the number of stops along the way. Some of the locations that may be visited include the South Shetland Islands. The 9-island archipelago has a long and complex history and is a territory disputed by Argentina, Chile, and the United Kingdom. First discovered in 1819 by an American seal hunter, the islands became a base for sealing and whaling operations, and several permanent settlements were established there. Then you have the South Orkney Islands, an archipelago consisting of 4 main islands and numerous smaller ones. It's a territory disputed by Argentina and the United Kingdom, and its history is very similar to the Shetlands. Then you have the South George Islands, about 1,300 kilometers east of the southern tip of South America, a part of British overseas territory of South Georgia and South Sandwich Islands. South Georgia has a long and complex history. It was first discovered in 1775 by a British naval captain, James Cook, who named it after King George III. The island was subsequently used as a base for sealing and whaling operations, and several permanent settlements were established. In the early 20th century, South Georgia became a base for scientific research and exploration, and it was also used as a staging area for expeditions to the South Pole. During World War II, the island was occupied by Argentine forces, but it was subsequently reclaimed by the United Kingdom. And once the ships reach the Antarctic Peninsula, passengers explore the continent either by taking guided tours or going on independent excursions. An affordable cruise may set you back about $5,000, while something more upscale is likely to go over $15,000. So considering the incredible pace of my channel's growth, I might be able to visit in about 377 years. Interestingly, as of writing the script, I'm in the Philippines, and the quickest way for me to go to Ushuaia would be directly over the Antarctica, which would be be over 15,000 kilometers. But of course, no flights go over the Antarctica. Has anyone ever traveled from the Philippines directly to Ushuaia? That would be crazy. Leave a comment. Now, have you ever wanted to go to Mount Everest? Watch this next to change your mind. Also, congrats Argentina, you just won the World Cup. Woo! And this is my Patreon map. Everyone on this map has at some point greatly contributed to the success of this channel. Thank you so much, guys. Geoperspective out.